Thanks very much, Leanne, and warm welcome to the viewers. Well, let's take a look at climate models are running red hot and scientists don't know why. Well, that's a serious problem, but simulations used to forecast warming have suddenly started giving less time for more, and this we are joined in studio by Professor Stagar Vishwas. Welcome, sir.
Good morning, Azzy.
So, we have seen these models. You're saying 27 models have been run in different countries and different scientists, and they've all come up with different answers, but the trend is the same. And all of them at start, they thought that maybe these results were erratic or maybe there was a problem. Because now looking at this, the issue of climate change seems to be getting more and more serious. And to note this, the normal emissions that we had was 280 ppm, and now we're sitting at 410 ppm. We almost doubling, and we have been standing up on TV saying all these things like, you know, climate change, let's all reduce the emissions, and it seems like it is not happening.
So as climate scientists have been grappling with this puzzle of if you double carbon emissions since the Industrial Revolution, how sensitive would the Earth be to heating?
Yeah.
And basically that means that we were at 280 parts per million before the Industrial Revolution. So we are now at 410 parts per million, heading closer to 560 parts per million, and that's the doubling, okay?
Yeah.
Now what these models are also telling us is that if you look at some of these averages and so on, they're basically suggesting that instead of a 3-degree warming, which is what doubling has meant to be, we are actually seeing numbers in the range of between 4 and 6. Now, this has very, very serious implications. It also means that major tipping points on planet Earth, and they are major stores of carbon. It's our forests, it's our oceans, it's even our ice sheets. It means that those tipping points are really flashing loudly right now, and that has very serious implications.
So looking at those implications as well, because these are some of the implications, severe flooding. We have seen fires in so many countries and just around the world. Now, not even going to the health part of it, just looking at the weather, we have seen something severe and that we cannot comprehend. And again, in South Africa, we seem to be receiving the most. We have seen lots and lots of droughts, and again, we're not getting enough rainfall, heat waves and things like that. So now, coming to this issue, how are we going to solve it? Should we by ourselves try to solve it, or should we put government into it?
So right now, you know, government is meant to put a plan on the table for the UN Paris Climate Agreement process, the Glasgow summit later this year. It's unfortunate that in the State of the Nation address by the President, he didn't place that issue front and center and present South Africa as a country that's going to lead on climate globally, but also as a country that's going to lead on climate on the continent that is one of the most affected in the world.
Yeah.
At the same time, I think what we are seeing is that government is normalizing this problem. The State of the Nation address was really about, well, tackling unemployment, inequality, all important issues which the government has failed to tackle over 26 years. But at the same time, climate was just an add-on. And the normalizing of this problem is contra the science and the urgency and the necessity for mainstreaming this issue. For example, in New Zealand, the Prime Minister has mainstreamed climate emergency. Every policy coming out of her government is going to be informed by climate imperatives. Now that didn't come out of the State of the Nation address. The other issue to underlying here is that there's a technocratic concession to the problem. Okay, there's an adaptation plan going to come and so on. Now, a technocratic approach to this big problem of ecological restructuring of our society is not going to help us solve this problem. It's not going to take us closer to big solutions. And this is a serious challenge.
Okay, I mean, talking of that, it just brings to my mind that, okay, we need to have some sort of a policy to like, okay, these are the steps we're going to take for us to be able to adapt. Now, again, the red hot, I mean, it is doubling, and the time, it's very short for it to double to get to between 4 and 6 degrees, like global increase. Do we have enough time, and do we have a policy that can be able to save us from all these things?
As we're running out of time, and that is why civil society has taken an initiative, progressive organizations across the progressive spectrum in South Africa, to advance a climate justice charter for South Africa. There were numerous dialogues last year, and we're thinking through the detail and the substance of a deep, just transition. What would this mean in terms of changing our energy system towards socially owned renewables, a new food system around food sovereignty, climate jobs, decarbonizing the state, decarbonizing workplaces? These are big challenges, and we are basically engendering that conversation in society. The charter is traveling. It'll be formalized in the middle of this year, and then we are taking it to Parliament. Section 234 of South Africa's constitution allows for charters to be adopted to complement this constitution. And we want to use that intervention again to shift society, to break, if you like, the information gap, the unawareness gap in our society, and also push government.
So is there a specific day where this is going to be taken to Parliament?
Correct. 16th of October. And I must also add that there are a whole set of frontline struggles around this issue. The drought is still continuing in parts of the country. There are children outside Parktown Girls High every Friday, led by Ray, somebody called Munira, somebody called Benon and Jacob. These children have decided they're going to boycott class, and they're going to be outside on Fridays. And it's time that the media also tells their story, and as well from other front lines.
Okay, besides the little girls, what can a normal citizen in South Africa do to try and combat climate change?
I think, yes, it can start at an individual level. We can change our electricity choices, but it's expensive right now because government is not rolling out renewables on a mass scale. We can start talking about public transport issues and push for public transport. We can start thinking differently about our food choices. Localizing our food choices are very, very important. But more importantly, we've got to go beyond the individual. These are systemic problems. These require big systems change. So here, citizens have to join the movement. We've got to build a powerful climate justice movement that can lead these systemic changes that we need.
All right. Thank you very much, Professor. And that was Professor Stagar from Wits University. You've heard it here on Morning Live. Those are the issues of climate change, and we all have to be involved. And our government needs to play a big part. Well, that is it from me, Ndaoyondo.